Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to video 2 of my series of, not a series, just of life tips, of just things to be able to, skills, that's the word. Skills to be able to apply to your life, to be able to maybe help someone else. And so I just wanted to come on here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shayla Haller. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I know in this world there are so many things that are grabbing and catching your attention. And for you to make the decision to choose to take time out of your day to either play this in the background or to watch this, is a really powerful sign of you're in a place of where you want to heal and you want to grow and you want to be transformed, and you're looking for things to allow you to do that. And so that's a huge first step, right? Let's give credit where credit is due. You are making the decision to watch this and hoping that something that you're listening to you'll be able to take with you, put in your pocket for when you need it, and it'll just kind of life advice from a licensed counselor. And so, for those of you watching, if this is your first time, welcome to my channel. I didn't get into too much stuff in my first video. You guys, to be honest, I was so nervous, and that's okay to celebrate, right? My husband and I rewatched my video, and I reached out to a couple people, and my sister provided me some insight too. And one day, right, these videos, this channel will be huge, right? It'll be reaching people from all over the nation. That's the point, that's the goal. But right now, as I think I've checked once, how many people have watched the videos. And honestly, it's probably just mostly friends and family members. And those of you who have shared it with other people, thank you. It's such a this is such a labor of love. And so in order for us to get this out there, in order for, I say us because I need you guys, right? I need you to be able to send this, right? Go out and send it to all the people that you know of. I'm telling you, even if they've got kids, I work with kids starting at the age of about 6 or 7 is what I've done. And a lot of the stuff that I'll provide, it's all going to be kid friendly, user friendly. It's not going to be I'm not going to have cuss words. My language is going to be not overly confusing. I'm going to water down some things. And honestly, that's what I prefer too. It can be so overwhelming if the dialogue and the language is over our head. And so that's never my intention or my purpose. I want to be able to make this information understandable by a lot of people ranging in all different ages. And so thank you for those of you who have watched it, who have subscribed, who have commented. Thank you. It's been such an awesome journey, just honestly, you guys, for me to put that first video out. I've been really reflecting on this, and it's such a big deal because when I start something, it might take me a long time to start it, but when I start it, I'm telling you, I'm all in almost to a fault, to where if my leg's broken, I'm still showing up for a video. If I'm sick, I'm still going to pop on here and say something. That's just my nature. That's my heart. I am a survivor. I just have grit and tenacity. Those of you who know me would probably adhere to that. And those of you who really, really know me are the ones that that we have the conversations about how sometimes I need to learn how to just be calm and to be still. And so that's something that I'm trying to learn, trying to explore. And at the same time, it's really hard just with working and husband working and having 5 children and having a 4-month-old, 5-month-old, and just the busyness of life, right? Making sure everyone's getting to where they need to go, spending that quality time with your kids. We can be pulled. This world makes us feel like we need to be pulled in so many different directions. And so why not take the 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of your day and pour into yourself? And I'm also saying this out loud for myself, pour into yourself to be able to keep being able to pour into others. Okay, especially if you're a mom, especially if you're a parent, a grandparent who are watching children. If you've got people that you're responsible for, it's going to be essential to be able to take a break and to stop and to be present, right? We hear that word a lot. I feel I'm not really sure people understand what being present feels like, especially because I'm seeing a lot of people in my practice where I'm trying to practice with them how to just be still and to be present. And so, there's another video right there. You guys, it's overwhelming. There's so much information that I can share. And so if there's something specific, I've got all these ideas of these things that I want to put out there, and I will in time, right? I'm going to be posting one video a week because, to be honest, guys, that's all I can really manage right now, just with the hurriness of my life. Really, there's not much at all free time, downtime. And so I just happened to be able to record this video today in my office. I got in here early this morning to be able to do this because of my commitment to you, the people. And so, and to just this journey of healing, right, for people. And so the feedback that I got on my last video, there wasn't much, and that's okay. I'm not expecting it. But there is one person who reached out to me and said, this video really helped encourage me and it made me excited to start therapy. And I booked my first appointment last week. And that was boom. That's so cool. That's what I'm here for. I'm being able to just offer, a sense of comfort, a sense of peace, I guess, with what does this journey even look like? How do I even begin? And so those of you who know me, hi, thank you for being here. Those of you who don't, maybe a friend has passed this on to you. I come from a background raised by a single parent. I have a sister and I've got some step siblings too. And I'm sorry, not step siblings, a stepmom, half siblings. There's a big distinction between the two. I've got half siblings. I've got 3 of them. And it's hard, for me, my life has been go, 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 go. So I was an athlete from a very young age. And by the time I was 14, I was on a cereal box, Frosted Flakes. The only reason why I share that is because sports is so big. It's huge, right? And there's so many people who play sports. And for me, the distinction was joining a club team for soccer down in Southern California. And that was my life. That was my life. That was my sister's life. That was my mom's life. And it really set the course for me to be this high performer, to where I learned the value of hard work. I learned the value of discipline. I learned the value of showing up, and I'm there, so I'm going to give 100% of my best effort. I learned that at a young age, you guys. I was probably 11 or 12, and I'm not kidding. You could ask other people, but I was a high performer at a young age, right? And that also came with a lot of anxiety. So if you look through the lens of high performers and people who, are just chronic, constantly working, or are just everything that they do, right, needs to be at a certain level, a certain, I don't say performance, because it's not a performance. It's a genuine feeling of like, oh my gosh, like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right the first time. And that's something that I followed. And that's what's so neat about these videos, is that you guys have already made mistakes and it's okay. I'm going to move on. So through these videos, I'm also learning myself, which is so great. It's so wonderful, right? And we're here on this planet to learn, right? We only get one chance. We only get one chance here on this earth. And if we're going to take it for granted, then our life can just seem like it's going to fly by, because we're not being present either. So I'm going to go back to that whole presence thing, right? So those of you who are here, because I could go on and on, because there's so much information up here. And if there's something specific that you want me to talk about, please put it in the comments below. And I would love to make a video on that. Okay. And so for the sake of time and moving forward, there were just some things that I feel like I could have, more things I could have said in the first video, but I do feel like it is important for people to understand a little bit about my background. So just being a high performer and playing sports. And when I was in high school, I won a total of, I think it was 5 state championship rings, 3 for basketball, 4, 1 for soccer. So I won 4. And then I went on and played college soccer, Division I college soccer at Cal State Fullerton. And then from there, so I got my undergrad in kinesiology, the study of human movement. So physiology, exercise science, a lot of those courses is what my background is in. And so then I went on to be a physical education teacher, and that didn't work out because there was no job. So I did try to do that for 3 years. And then I went on and worked at University of Southern California, where I was a director of operations for about a year and a half. And then I decided, okay, maybe I do want to coach. I never thought I did, because I was like, God, just going to be a coach? What? Like, that's not good enough. Like, what? Where did that even come from? Society. So I went on to coach, and I moved to Texas, and I didn't know a single person. That's it. Like, I was like, I'm out. I'm leaving California. I need to go do this on my own. I need to get out of my comfort zone because I just felt like I needed to grow. I was not in a great place in my life. Depression was present because I was chronically working. I was putting in 60 plus hours a week at that university because the job was so demanding and it was so hard. And it was a really great experience at the same time. And so moving on from there allowed me to understand how to work and to hold space for other people with other beliefs than me. And I really grew up. I matured. And I honestly got a little sharper on the edges because there were things that happened during my time there to where I was very vulnerable. I was young. I think 25, 26, and that might not seem very young. But if you know about me in my childhood, I felt so young. I felt so young. I was like, oh, am I really ready? Am I actually ready for this? The answer was no. And we do it anyways, right? So I did it anyways, and I don't regret anything that I've done because I'm very cognizant of the decisions that I make, to the point where sometimes it looks like procrastination because it takes me forever to really decide on doing something. So I'm not really someone who's like, yes, let's do it. I wouldn't say I'm spontaneous. I am more of a calculated risk. Perfect word for me. Calculated risk. And so going from there then and coaching in Texas, that's where I got, this is what I wanted to say. That's where I got my master's. So I got my master's in applied psychology. And the original plan was to be a professor. Didn't happen, didn't work. And that's okay. And so I then kind of got rerouted and I had a really, really difficult season that brought me back to California for about a year. Really, really difficult season. It's hard to think about how long ago that was because it still feels so fresh, but that was a really difficult season of my life. Honestly, it's kind of making me emotional just thinking about it. I'm gonna blame the hormones from postpartum. So that sounds good. Let's go with that. But I think I'm just looking, my husband and I have been talking about healing, and my video today is going to be on grief. And so I'm kind of leading up to that, right? I'm leading up to how we can build things up and then what happens when it doesn't work out. What happens when we fill out an application and we don't get the job and it's the 5th application we filled out? What if we're filling out an application for grad school and we spend all this money that we don't have and we fill out all these applications and we don't hear back from any schools? Does that mean I'm not good enough? Does that mean I shouldn't be doing this? And so life is hard. Life can cause us to have a lot of ups and downs. And in the clinical world, it's called, more of the hyper arousal, right? We're going to get there. We can go. That fight or flight, like I'm getting there. And then the hypo, which is the crash, which is then the depression, which is then the what is going on in my life. And it can look so different for so many people. So I won't get into too many specifics, but my question that I want to pose to you guys today is, our culture is so busy, hurry. And it's good for a short period of time until it's not. And that's that hyper arousal, right? I got to show up. I got to show up. I got to show up for myself. I got to show up for my kids. I got to show up for my students. I got to show up because I run the floor of a hospital. I got to show up. I have to show up for my people. And we have to sometimes, when you're in these leadership type roles, you might think, I can't let other people down, right? It's all on me. And when we create that belief in our head, it's terrifying, because what if we show up and we're not our best self? What if we show up and we make a mistake? And in certain fields, that can be horrific. It can be horrific if you make a mistake. You could really, really cause some heartache and some grief in someone else's life while you're processing your own grief. It's very, it can be very complex. And so those of you who are in high performance, leadership roles, who are in charge of other people, right? Even little humans, right? Being a parent, like, You feel so responsible for your children. It's overwhelming. You can be filled with this sense of anxiety. Like, am I doing enough? Is what I'm doing the right thing? Is what I'm doing enough? Am I enough? And if you're walking around with that limiting belief today, think about all of the interactions you're going to have with people, the interactions you're having with yourself, the interactions you're having with tasks to do or your work. If you're already coming at it from a sense of, am I enough? How is that manifesting in your life? Right? And so I want to challenge people today to really stop and think about, what limiting beliefs do I have about myself? And most of the time they come from when we're a child. You know, if we had a parent who was emotionally unavailable, emotionally cold, emotionally distant, detached, that is going to lead to an adult who is confused, an adult who feels like, I'm the problem, I was the problem. Or if your parents got a divorce, maybe you're thinking you're the reason why, because they were always yelling all the time and they were always so stressed out. And was I, if my parents didn't have me, their life would have been easier. And a lot of this stems down from just this generational trauma, this generational inability to stop, to reflect, and to think, I don't want to pass this down to my kids. That's not fair. And it's really hard. So if parents are not aware of the things that their parents did to them, if they're not aware of that, not being present of that, it's so easy to do the same thing, because we are what we know, right? And so we're going to continue to model what was modeled to us. And for those of you who are on that growth journey, that transformation journey, maybe you're realizing, no, I don't want to be that way anymore. I don't want to be that for my kids. And that's incredible. I salute you, because that is a hard place to be in. You know what, you guys, an even a harder place to be in is then, now what? I've had these things done to me. I've had people act this way around me, family members, siblings, parents. I've had them act this way around me. And then when I'm back in that situation, why can't I change what I want to change? And it's because the body's right. The body has this automatic response to do what's already known, to do what's comfortable. And there is hope. There's hope there, because you can change the script. And this is how your brain is capable of being rewired. So the neurons in your brain have the ability to unlearn what they've learned in order to then learn new things. I will tell you right now, it's not an easy feat. It does take time. Most of the time, it does take therapy, it takes counseling. You've got to be able to do that with someone else, because it's overwhelming. And so if that's where you're at right now, I just want to speak truth into that you are doing an incredible job just by acknowledging, I don't want to do this anymore. I've got to be better. My kids deserve better. And that's what's going to help start a new generational growth and health for that next generation, right? And so are you the one that has been chosen to start that? And I'll tell you right now, I know I have. I've been the one to start that, and it's hard. And so if this is helping you, if there's a parent that you know of who's struggling with this, who's struggling with holding space for their children and themselves too while their journey is occurring, please send this to them so they don't feel like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? All these other people that I see love their children 24/7. It's amazing. No. There's 4 different attachment styles, and maybe those people have a secure attachment style. And to be honest, that's a blessing. We need people in this world who don't have trauma, who don't have personality disorders, who don't have, things that have happened to them. I'm sorry, a personality disorder doesn't just happen to you, right? It's within your genealogy. And so I don't want people to think that I messed that up there. So let me go back and clarify. If you're already coming into this world with anxiety, with depression, with a personality disorder, that doesn't mean that you have the inability to be able to learn the skills to be that change, to be that person that you needed when you were younger. So I want to encourage you, be that person that you needed, that you wish you had when you were younger. And how to do that is to acknowledge, oh, I've got to change. I need to change. I've got to grow. My kids deserve it. If you're going to do it for someone, if you're not going to do it for yourself, if you're not going to do it for your spouse, do it for your kids. That to me is the best gift you can leave your children, is doing the inner work, doing the inner growth. And that's going to get me to my last point here. This is so funny. I thought this video was going to be on grief. So I guess that's going to be our next video, and the different stages of grief. It's just a wild journey. I guess once I hit start, it just kind of just starts flowing, which is wonderful, right? And so as I wrap this up, I'm going to wrap it up with a quick, because I've got a client coming in here any minute. I've got a quick a thing I want to leave with you guys today is, I think our society talks so much about healing and, oh, I need to be healed from this, maybe even set free from it. And I don't know if it's so much about healing. I think it's more about resiliency, that when we're faced with difficulties, we don't necessarily heal from them. And this is kind of like this discussion I got in with my husband last night. It was so funny. And I was sitting there like, no, healing's a thing, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, I don't think it is. And I was like, okay, well, let me get curious, explain to me why. And it made a lot of sense. And so this might make sense for someone else out there. For healing, you can heal a wound, right? Like if you have a cut, it'll heal. I think for us as people, since we're such emotional beings, which is how, we were made to be put on this earth, we're made for belonging, that we don't necessarily, the goal isn't to heal. I think the goal is to accept what's happened to us, accept that this is my life. This is what I've been chosen for. This is what I've been called for. This is my life. And what am I going to do about it? Am I going to allow this to affect every decision that I make? Am I going to allow this to have me see the world as dark, cold, unchanging, unloving, unkind? Or am I going to allow this to make me be more resilient and show up for people in ways that people weren't able to show up for me? Are you the one who's going to sit in the corner and sulk and cry about it and woe is me and be more of a victim mindset? Or are you the person who's like, you know what? This happened. I'm not the only person in the world this has happened to. People have suffered, people have struggled, and I will get up and I will rise and I will be better and I will do it. I will do the thing. And this is my last point here. What I used to tell my athletes is fear. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. That, my friends, I think is the goal. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Bye.